been on ride-alongs with our officers to see what goes on in our city. But I've been on 2 or 3, and just knowing that, it was hell with a full police force. Now we're down, when if Josh gets his position, I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, do we have anything in the works? Is it all up to the mayor? And so I'm kind of wasting my breath right now.
Council has several times thrown this term down to the mayor, so but it's ultimately a decision to the mayor.
All right, well, anyway, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I was at Eric's shop today when he told me his vehicle got stolen and vehicles across the street. It's really touching home for all of us. I mean, I understand the council can't do anything about it. I understand it's totally up to the mayor. But we have to do something. Either when we have these meetings, we don't let the media in there to publicize that our police force is down to 3 or 4, because that's what's going on here. Everyone out here in Seattle or anywhere know that we don't have a police force. So everyone's coming down here and they're going to be ripping us off. I'm afraid because the shop is around the corner from my house. We all can be in this meeting right now, our cars can be broken into, and there's nothing that we can do about it. What's going to happen is people are going to start getting armed. They're going to get guns, and we don't need that because we can't fight fire with fire. We have to come up with some type of resolution, get a police force, or we just get some citizens together to walk around and patrol the neighborhood. I don't mind doing that, but I just want it to be safe right here. And right now, it's not safe for any of us, because I believe those young kids who broke into Eric's shop and the shop next door, they're not done. If they got away with 3 vehicles, they're assuming that they can continue to do this until one of them hits our feet or someone gets shot going in someone else's home. I'm not the violent type, but I just want to look out for everyone. But something is drastic. Something drastic will happen. Now, hopefully, the mayor by then will say, well, let's just pray and say we need more officers. So just keep up the good job, council, and let's just try to keep working on the mayor. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Pointing outside. Am I missing something? Okay. Going once? Going twice? So we will move on to reports. Seeing the mayor's not here tonight, I don't think we'll have a report from him. Finance?
The audit report was released this morning. I have a few copies that I made if anybody wants them. I sent them out to council. If I run out of copies, I can certainly make more or give you the link.
I'd just like to note a word of thanks to our finance director on that. The audit report did find that our books were fair and accurate and adequate and met all standards. So it's good to know that we have another year without an audit finding. And again, that was for the 2011 budget year. It was delayed somewhat from the usual schedule.
Any questions on the finance report? Move on to court statistics. I believe they are in your book. Public Safety Department. Welcome back, John.
I didn't know that you were Derek's talking to but I was going to make a call. That is, the end of last night, the auto thefts have gone up almost 400%. Well, we had 11, and our average is 2 or 3. And so that was 400%. Task force, part of that task force, because usually the auto thieves are the same people that are prowling and doing commercial burglaries, day and night, or residential burglaries. No. So those things are
Was there a copy you'd like to hand out to the people, or?
Of this report.
Yeah. Was there a copy made to hand out? Because I'm not sure all the people in the audience could hear what your report.
Yeah, I don't see it till I'll my copy made and have them brought over right now.
Oh, okay, or,
Because I don't have copies.
Councilmember Sutton?
Yeah, getting back to, Stacy's point, do we have a feel for how concealed pistol licenses are going this year versus last? I've heard this again and again, that people are planning to take matters into their own hands. Do we have numbers on that so far this year?
I can give you numbers. I know that Stephanie told me they've skyrocketed over that. I will give you exact numbers.
Thank you.
Other questions? Councilmember Geier?
Is there any indication that the mayor is going to be, any indication he's going to fill your position?
No.
So if I may, with council's pleasure, I promised Trent that I would bring a motion forward again tonight that we strongly encourage the mayor to fill the vacant position.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the council strongly encourage the mayor to fill the vacant police department position. Comments from the maker of the motion?
We need to fill those positions for the safety of the citizens.
Second?
The need is obvious. The budget's there. Hire them.
Comments from council?
the only comment I would have would be, I think it's just a step that we're taking to go nowhere, but I will go on through with it. I mean, we've done this numerous times, and it seems like the more time we do it, the less he tries to cooperate, so that's my idea if I do.
Further comments from council? Comments from the audience? Keith?
Now this,
I'll give your name again.
this is Eric, I'm Eric Weedham. Once again, I live here in P.C.S. and own Performance Exhaust. It seems to me that, there's some public safety involved with not having these police officers involved. Isn't there something we can do with, the county, or isn't, King County involved in that somehow? Or is it just us governing ourselves? Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it.
Mayor's decision.
There's the decision. Perfect. Well, that was my question.
Further comments from the audience?
Gary Hastings, 113 3rd Avenue Southeast. I stand up again in support of providing public safety. So I'll ask the mayor to please do what the council asks and what the members of the community are asking, is that the positions be filled. Thank you.
Further comments? Thank you, going to okay. Going on, going to Remaining comments from the council? Motion before the council is a motion by Councilmember Geier, second by Councilmember Putnam, that the council again encourage the mayor to fill the vacant police department position. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. And motion carried. Go back to audience. No, I'm sorry, we were in public safety department. Anything else to report?
I think all of them can make copies so we can hand out.
Thank you. Anything else from the chair? You're the chair, right?
I have nothing really, nothing at this point.
Okay. We'll move to public works, community development.
The only thing I'm going to share this time, because I'm on the agenda quite a bit tonight, is that we did get a compliment from a citizen concerning the striping that we've done in the city.
My wife had a compliment about that. Good. Anything from the chair? I forget who chairs the committee.
Gary, you're the chair there.
Anything from the chair?
I'm not sure I was the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. think you weren't there at the last meeting when we made you chair.
So we'll move on to Community, Senior, and Youth Services. Any report tonight? No? Anything? Who's chair then?
I am.
No,
anything related to it.
Okay. City Council. Council report? Councilor Putnam.
In addition to the financial audit being released today, the accountability audit was released as well. Again, no findings of improper governmental action. The report itself is fairly condensed. It just says they looked and they didn't find anything. The list of allegations that they investigated was rather extensive, more than 40 claims of corruption in the city, from various sources, newspaper articles, blog postings. They investigated all of them, went quite a bit over budget on hours, and we all get to pay for that. But they, at the end of the day, found no corruption, no improper governmental action. City policies are and procedures are adequate to protect public assets.
Any other council report? You want to report on that?
Well, I didn't know if I should do it at SBA or if we report on it now.
Sure.
So, I hope everybody got the email I sent, the copies of all the information that I gathered up when I was at the AWC conference last week. Thank you for sending me. If not, I brought hard copies with me too, so that I can pass those out to you. There were, several workshops that I attended. One of them was on, curbing abusive public records requests. I think we might know a little bit about that here. And so there's some movement going in the House with that, and I haven't seen anything lately. I haven't had an opportunity. Have you seen? Is that that's still moving forward? I'm pretty sure, well, all the cities are in the same boat. So far, it was even bankrupted too, but. There was a big discussion over transportation funding. There's a big package that was rolled out. Severn has been moving forward with that, and now it's going to be broken down into 3 different parts, and they're going to be kind of looking at them differently. So there's a lot of activity. It's moving forward, and there's nothing really that's been said. But it did look like they were looking at, what, 0.65 for the city. They filtered down to the cities. It's what's in there now, but it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Out of that 10% gas increase that they're looking at. So for the transportation, and that little bit that comes back is for maintenance and repairs in our own city. So right now, as it sits, with the money that's sitting with the gas tax, we're gonna get nothing. So, anyway, and we know we get a lot of complaints from the citizens. They'd like to see the streets repaired and a little bit paving and stuff like that taken care of. Some of that money comes from the state. And with everything that's going on the federal level too, that's huge issue. They're talking about restoring the city and county liquor revenue. The city had lost quite a bit of money. Also in that report that I had sent you, there's a breakdown of what each of the cities in our district, legislative district 30, what we were looking at specifically broken down as well. And I'm sorry I didn't put these copies out. I'll make sure I have them out later if anybody's interested in it. But like City of Pacific, what does it say? $33,563 is what we lost in a year of time in revenue with the new tax that had taken place. Anyway, so hopefully we can get that restored. They're looking at maintaining the current uses of the local lodging taxes, and I think we need to look at what the rules are for that, because I don't think we're using it to its full potential, that we can be able to use a little bit more of this money for Pacific days and stuff like that. So it seems to me the last time that we met regarding the lodging tax, the laws have changed since then, so I want to dig into that a little bit more, but they want to maintain it where the city can use more of that money for events, for local events. You know, even though that money is designed for, you know, we give out a King Oscar, and that money is designed that it's put heads in beds is what they call it, you know, and you can only use that money if it brings tourism to your city, but there's some leniency that they've had. We've always been able to use it for banners, but there may be some other things too that we can use it for that we're not utilizing, so may come in handy for us. Anyway, it was pretty good. There was I had to sneak away for a couple hours because my job requires me to go to a prevailing wage hearing at the Capitol, so I had to go to that and then come back. And then I came back and sat in on a small city's issues, 15,000 and less, and they were harping about how bad prevailing wage is, and I'm like, I'm here, I'm down there testifying, yay. So that was a really challenging and interesting, sometimes it's really interesting, my real job and my night job, I have to remember which hat I'm wearing sometimes. That, again, thank you for sending me. I learned a lot, networked with some few people. I also talked to different cities. I have made a list of some of the cities that had council managers. And staff had a couple different tables at the reception night and just kind of asked what they thought, got some feedback, gathered some cards so we can sit down if we have any questions, people that had gone through the process. And so when we were looking at it, and it was real fun, I'm from Pacific, you get that look. But other than that, I did appreciate going. It was a great time, networked with some great people. And I think it was very beneficial for us.
Questions for Councilmember Gary?
Only if you could provide me and me or Gary with the information on the other cities you communicated with, contacts.
You bet. I have their cards here.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, that reminds me, I had an email from somewhere at thieves about the city that most recently switched to a council manager, and names and numbers. I'll forward that.
Thank you.
Other council reports? Seeing none, personnel?
I don't have any other than I just wanted to verify that, walk road training is coming up, and for those of you that don't know what that means, it's the Washington Association of Public Records Officers, and they have a spring conference in April 30th, and so I'll be bringing that forward for approval for training and travel.
Questions? All right, anything else on personnel? Nope. So we'll move on to boards and committees. Any park board report? Come on up.
Sherry Casey, Park Board Commissioner, 422 Chicago Boulevard South. We're on the agenda twice, so I guess I'll talk now and then I won't have to talk later. But there's resolutions for you later on. We are trying to organize another Earth Day as a community event. We feel it's especially important this year to try and bring the community together with something to be proud of, maybe even make the news with some good news. The problem that we're having is this is a joint venture between us and Pacific Partnership. They, being the 501c, handle the funding, but we actually give them the money since it can't come in through the city. And then they help with the food and things of that nature. The problem we're having is participation of the people trying to put it together, because we've been, our hands have been tied by two major problems. One, insurance. We found out we have to get event insurance, and I understand Patty's looking into that. Without event insurance, we can't have the event. And until I know that, it's hard to solicit participation from merchants and everything if we don't know we're going to have the event. The second thing is money. We do need some cash to make the event come off, because things like postage, which is $350 all by itself, and things of that nature, it adds up to between $1,500 and $2,000 that we need in cash. We're having a hard time with that also because we were told this year that the park board cannot do soliciting for cash within the city limits. But it's the city limits that are reaping the benefit of Earth Day, so it's hard to go to Seattle and get cash for something specific. Anyway, you understand my problem. So any ideas, any volunteers, any businesses that I'm not soliciting, but if you just want to say, hey, Sherry, any help we can get on any level, you can get my phone number if you want. I don't know, call me. I have my cell phone in my pocket 24/7. So any help the park board can get for Earth Day. We do feel it's important this year because we need to pull the people together. And we're actually expanding it. The morning will be most of the trash pickup that it usually is, has been for 5 years. But I have already had 4 agencies and companies volunteer to bring in information booths, and we'll hand out information. I'm yet to contact everybody because until I find out we're going to have an event, I can't. But we're going to have things like the Master Gardeners, the Pierce County Noxious Weeds, the King County Hazardous Management, LeMay Shredding is going to come in with the environmental things, things of that nature. We're going to have a full information fair for the afternoon for the different community people that don't want to come in and get dirty getting trash. So we're going to try and pull in at least a couple of hundred people this year. So it is going to be important. It's important to the park board, and I feel personally it's important to the community. I'm asking for help.
Thank you. Questions for the park board? Thank you, Sherry. Public works? Do we have a public works board?
A committee.
Oh, yeah, we do have a public works board. Thank you, very much. Civil service? No report. Planning? See that it says attached. Anyone you pay attention to? Whole thing?
Yeah, everything on it.
Skateboard? No report. PCRC? Nobody's on it. SCA? VRFA?
Yeah, I have one thing to just kind of remind the citizens that to be sure to be getting a hold of their insurance company and check on their fire ratings, because of our fire rating dropping from a 6 to a 4. You be sure to contact your insurance carrier, because you should have a reduction in your fire coverage for your homes. It was set out in paper and whatever, but I want to try to keep reminding people, because it's easy to forget. But probably, maybe your insurance company automatically did it, but I would follow up.
Questions for the VRFA report? All right, we'll move on now. We'll enter our public hearing. Do we want to have a staff briefing on maybe the hearing process and what it's about? I think I'd like one. Hey, Riley?
Sure. I'll go over there, then you can hear me better. Pretty brief. This is just an extension of moratorium that you guys voted on last year, just to extend it so we can get more time. Because of all the events that happened last year, we need to review some ordinances before we can actually adopt an ordinance concerning this. And so that's why we're asking for another 6-month moratorium.
And the moratorium is on?
On medical, it's on the marijuana medical marijuana collective gardens, and establishing a moratorium on production, processing, and retailing of marijuana in the city of Pacific.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, we'll go, thank you, Ken. We will now go to our public hearing. I know we have one person who's signed up. Lauren, come on up. If there are others who would like to give their comments to the council about the potential extension of the medical marijuana collective garden moratorium.
Do we need to sign a sheet on that?
Do they need to send a sheet? No, as long as you give your name and address, it'll be okay.
Hi, Lauren Horn, 135 Aspen Lane North. First off, I guess I have to ask, with having just had an election on this in the state of Washington, is our new insurance going to cover us for a lawsuit from this? That's the first point. Second is, we're 2 officers down now from everything I've gathered in these last couple meetings. We're looking at losing a 3rd officer fairly soon. This, from what I'm reading, sounds like more enforcement necessary, not less. It's not adding up. And like I said, we did just vote on it here in the state of Washington, so I'm not really sure what we're hoping to accomplish with it. If somebody could answer that, that would be great.
I can give you a little bit of information on it, and I'd encourage those who may know more to fill in the initiative that we voted on.
Can we get the speaker, please?
Sure. The initiative that we voted on is different from the medical marijuana, two actually totally separate sets of laws. And so this is an ongoing issue about the medical marijuana piece that has its own licensing, regulation, growing, distribution, and use scheme and requirements versus what I'll call the recreational marijuana, which is what we voted on. So it's a little bit of an apples and oranges, even though it's about the same product, because it's frankly how it's used. If it's medical use pursuant to a doctor's recommendation, that falls under this regulation scheme. If it's recreational use, it's a totally different scheme.
Okay.
Clear as mud?
Yeah. That's about what I figured. I guess along the same lines, I don't see where we have the enforcement, where we should be taking a broader step and sticking our neck out insurance-wise, and seeing as how it may be not the exact same thing, but we pretty much did vote on it. I guess I just wanted to make my voice heard through this, because I don't see where it'll help us as a city. It might make things more complicated, more muddy, and frankly, it could cause more problems than it's worth.
Thank you. Other comments?
Don Thompson, 416 Second Avenue Southeast. My sister is 55, my youngest sister. She has had MS since she was 16. She is bedridden. Yes, she uses medical marijuana. Yes, it does help her. I don't see anything wrong with it for the people who need it. On the news tonight, a news broadcaster went around, and there's something wrong with it. He got 3 prescriptions for medical marijuana just by saying, I need some. We don't have the police force to police something like this. I think we should continue the moratorium until we get in a little bit better position, because the crime rate, I can just imagine what would happen if we said, okay, we can sell medical marijuana. I think we'll have a problem that we'll never recover from.
Thank you. Councilmember Holden, I see that. And this is for the public hearing, right?
First off, I'm not opposed to medical use of marijuana.
Councilmember Holden, this is for the public hearing?
Public hearing?
Yeah, just the public hearing part. We'll debate and vote on this later on the agenda.
Comments on the public hearing.
Okay, so you want to testify as a member of the public?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
But right now, the state of Washington is working out rules and regulations governing the use of recreational marijuana. And I feel that eventually the medical use and the recreational use are going to merge. So I think we ought to let the state have an opportunity to develop some more guidelines and rules before the city takes action.
Any other members of the public wish to state comment?
Just like to say, okay, we did vote on the medical marijuana. I understand a lot of people use it for pain, but we also did vote on 2 more police officers. We're going to open up a big can of worms, like everyone knows, if we even legalize marijuana for medical use, personal use. It doesn't matter. We all know this is going to get into the wrong hands. We do not have a police force for this. Let Seattle take charge and let them legalize everything. They have the police officers. Kent has the police officers. Auburn. What we need here are police officers, not legalizing any type of marijuana right now. If the mayor wants this, tell them to give us our police officers, and then the council will convene and see if we can get this passed. But the first thing is police officers, because everyone now is still getting their marijuana for their health. But we need our police officers. That's number one on our list, not marijuana. Thank you.
Any other audience comments?